What if one of the most calculating killers in American history also became one of the FBI's most valuable teachers? He stood 6'9". He decapitated his own mother. And then he sat down with the FBI to explain why he did it. This is the story of Edmund Kemper and how his twisted brilliance helped shape the way we profile serial killers today. Edmund Emil Kemper III was born in 1948, a child who dismembered his sister's dolls and fantasized about killing his mother as early as age 10. At 15, he murdered his grandparents, not out of hatred, but, as he put it, to see what it felt like. After years in juvenile detention, he convinced psychiatrists he was rehabilitated, scoring genius-level IQ numbers in the process. They let him out. What followed was a killing spree that shocked California. Between 1972 and 1973, Kemper murdered 6 young women, all hitchhikers. He'd lure them into his car, kill them, and often mutilate the bodies. Then the climax, he killed his mother, the woman he claimed tormented him psychologically for decades.
If there's one thing I know, it's this. A mother should not scorn her own son. If a woman humiliates her little boy, he will become hostile and violent and debased. Period.
He wasn't going to hurt anyone else. Psychologists would later call Kemper a perfect study in psychopathy. He scored high on the Hare psychopathy checklist, ticking boxes like superficial charm, manipulativeness, lack of empathy, and calculated violence. But Kemper wasn't your average killer. He wasn't chaotic. He was calm, articulate, deeply self-aware. He didn't just commit crimes, he analyzed them. He could put himself in someone else's shoes, but not really feel their pain. That's why when FBI agents Robert Ressler and John Douglas were building the foundations of modern criminal profiling, they came to Kemper. Kemper gave them hours of interviews, explaining fantasies, ritual behaviors, and the deep-seated rage that drove him. His insights helped establish the first real behavioral typologies, like the distinction between organized and disorganized killers. Edmund Kemper didn't just share stories, he shaped the science of criminal investigation. Before Kemper, FBI agents often relied on traditional detective work, footprints, witnesses, and forensic evidence. But serial killers, they followed a different logic. Kemper's articulate self-analysis helped agents realize that understanding a killer's psyche was critical to predicting their next move. He described his own fantasy cycles, how the urge to kill builds like pressure inside, and how ritualized behavior acts as a release valve. These insights directly influenced the FBI's development of the organized-disorganized killer typology, a framework that helps agents predict a killer's behavior and lifestyle. Organized killers, like Kemper, plan their crimes carefully, control the crime scene, and often lead seemingly normal lives. Disorganized killers, in contrast, act impulsively, leaving chaotic crime scenes and little planning. Kemper's interviews also helped the FBI refine their interview techniques, teaching agents to build rapport with killers by engaging their intellect and ego. This was revolutionary, turning interrogations from confrontations into conversations, where killers might reveal their darkest secrets. The Behavioral Science Unit, later immortalized in shows like Mindhunter and Criminal Minds, owes much of its foundation to Kemper's chilling cooperation. But here's the paradox. Why was he so willing to help? Was it guilt, or the thrill of holding power over the men trying to understand him? Some believe Kemper craved the spotlight, that being studied gave him a sense of control. Today, nearly every major serial killer investigation uses psychological profiling. And while it's evolved, its roots trace back to a prison cell and a man who knew exactly how dark the human mind could be because he lived there. Edmund Kemper was both predator and professor. Can we trust killers to help us catch killers, or are we just feeding their ego? Let us know what you think. And remember, understanding evil doesn't make it any less real.